Welcome back to Filmmaking and More. I'm your host, Juicy, and this show is about filmmaking, screenwriting, and music involved in the movie making process. So sit back and enjoy the ride. In this episode, we're going to look at the career of cinematographers. We're going to discuss their duties and responsibilities, who they work with, and the future of cinematography. But before we do that, make sure you like, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you comment and let us know what you thought of this video and what you think might make great content for the future. Now let's get back to it. So what are cinematographers? Cinematographers, or cinematography, we're going to talk about what is it, what do they do, what equipment do they use, who works with them, and the future of cinematography. So let's go ahead and explore this together, shall we? What is cinematography and what is the cinematographer? So on the set of a movie or some kind of TV production, they're also known as the director of photography. Cinematography is nothing more than the recording of film and photo. And I would imagine that this is more towards the film rather than the photo. But there are photos. Sometimes they may have duties of, looking at the poster, submissions, or other things that have to do with the actual photographs. A lot of press, for example. And even trailers. I'm sure they work with the editors or work with the, director. That's actually where their work goes after, the whole production is done. Everything goes to editing, and the cinematographer should have already made sure everything was right on the set so that in post things can happen in the magic of editing. What do? They do the recording and development of film or production for movie or shows. They are also in charge of cameras and lighting crews. The equipment that they use are all kinds and things that you probably wouldn't think of. So cameras, of course, and that's cameras of all kind. And you have gauges for lighting, you have filters, and that's both for color and diffusion. And the gaffer tape and tape measure, work gloves, and a multi-tool so you can cut things or crimp things or whatever the case may be. So this person's getting right into the set, right into the actual scene where things are going on. And if you don't have the right tools there or the right people in place, you're going to have a heck of a time trying to get this done. So who do they work with? They work with directors, and that's the overall direction of the production. And then they are also working with camera operators, the set director, lighting, gaffers, and maybe even sometimes actors. So where the actors need to go or whatever if something is not right, or they maybe direct them on the actual set of where the best shot is for their turn or whatever, right? I also want to get into the future of cinematography. So this is according to the Bureau of Labor Services. They have projected that for cinematography and cinematographers, so according to the BLS, they have expected growth of 14% all the way projected to 2029. And the median salary right now is $57,200 a year. And that can increase or decrease depending on your experience. Of course, the more experience you have, the more money you're going to get. And this can get into the millions. I've seen it, I think the highest one was like 100-something million, and then 85 million and down from there. I've never heard of those cinematographers. And you probably don't pay attention to cinematographers or director of photography as you're looking at the credits at the end of the film. I have always kind of looked at that, and that's how I would remember actors' names or directors, but never really got down deep into it until a few years ago. Then I started really looking at their work. For example, if I liked this particular cinematography or photographer's work, I would go find out what other movies he worked on and see if they used similar things or if they actually changed something up, mixed it up a little bit to make it more interesting for that particular project. And then the states that have the most employment of cinematographers are California, New York, and Georgia. Now, Georgia is a late bloomer. They actually started back, several years ago, almost maybe a couple decades ago. and most recently with The Walking Dead, of course. So that was totally filmed in Georgia. Lots of movies have since come out, a lot of production going on in there. So if you live in those three areas, you have more odds of getting work. If you don't live in those areas, it depends. Phoenix, for example, may have some film production going on, but it's going to be on a smaller scale. But we're close to LA too, so it's not a bad hop over to, the dark side. Hey, if you like this episode of Filmmaking and More, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, that way you know the next time I drop a video. Go ahead and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The links are in the description box below. And I want to thank you for watching the videos. Thank you for the support as it provides Juicyfroot Productions the resources and access it needs to keep bringing you content like this. From Juicyfroot Productions and Robb Entertainment Corporation, I'm your host, Juicy, and I want to thank you for watching this show. Take care.
Gotta take you by the hand, oh yeah, and lead you to that brother's love.